Hi guys, welcome back to Goodwill Speaks. With me today is a PMI certified project manager with a career spanning IT, supply chain, brand development, facilities management, operations. In the oil and gas industry, he has held various strategic roles while working in Nigeria, Gabon, Dubai, United States, the United Kingdom, and now Canada. He holds a bachelor's degree in electrical and electronics engineering from the prestigious Ambrose Ali University, Ebhohimhen, Nigeria, a master's degree in operations and production management from the University of Lagos, and an MBA from University of New Brunswick, Canada, as well as other international trainings and certifications. He is a human capacity development enthusiast and public speaker with interest in strategic thinking, cultural intelligence, and career development. He is the president of Moscas Consulting Incorporated, business consulting, training, and recruitment, and currently an executive of Nigerian Canadian Association of New Brunswick, NCAMB, and a member of St. John Toastmasters Club. Can we give it up for Isaac Ebhohimhen?
Thank you very much.
Thank you for accepting our invite today. We are glad that you are here with us, where we talk about life series, faith-based content, and mind shift content. So today we want to talk about immigration, immigrating to another country, relocating from your original country to another place, the challenges that you faced, the objectives. Why did you decide to relocate to Canada? So we'll be asking some series of questions. We just want our audience to learn, and probably there's somebody out there who is also trying to relocate or take this bold step of leaving everything behind and starting afresh in a different country. So we'll be starting with our first question. What were your top priorities for settling in Canada, and how did you achieve them?
All right. Thank you very much for the opportunity, and thank you to the audience out there. I appreciate this opportunity to be at your program. In terms of coming to Canada, it was a decision that took me a couple of years before I could take it. I had to spend some time to think through it as much as I needed at that time. I knew that it was going to be a life-changing decision and action for me. So I had to spend some time on that. It took me about 3 years to take a final decision that it was time to go. In terms of priority, my number one priority was to be sure, I'm a Christian, I think you know that, was to be sure that this was the will of God for me at that time. Mm-hmm. This was what I needed to do at that phase of my life. And I spent some time to pray about it. I spoke to my wife about it. And it was really tough because there was so much that I was tied to in Nigeria. I had a lot of people I was mentoring. I had church. I had family. I'm very close to my mom. I was so scared to leave my mom behind and to also leave my mother-in-law. We are very, very close. There were a lot of ties. We had the business that was flourishing and doing really, really well. It was scary, honestly, very, very scary to leave a place that I was established. I was an authority almost in measurement in the oil and gas industry. I had done a lot of things. I wrote papers in crude oil and gas measurement. I was known, so living was really, really tough. But there were major priorities. One of it, like I mentioned, was to be sure that it was God. And I eventually got that all clear signal when I heard clearly in the course of my praying and fasting and preparations that if I didn't let the old go, the new will not come. I was so tied to the old. But when I heard clearly, if you don't let the old go, the new will not come. That was the settlement in my spirit that I needed to live, that it was time to live, and I was in the will of God. I'm writing a book now. It's going to be launched sometime later this year. Some of these stories are contained in it. Another motivation or priority for me was, of course, my family, my kids. If it was just for me and my wife, like I mentioned, we were doing really, really well. We had businesses that were doing very well, but my kids were growing quite fast. I had been exposed to international travel and study and trainings and work. I understand the difference between that level of exposure and being locked within Nigeria only. I wanted to give our kids a good international exposure. So I wanted them to have the opportunity to school abroad with the challenges of schooling with other kids, give them that international platform. That was one of my priorities. Of course, there was also the forward thinking of the strength of the currency of my country, the kind of dream that I had for them in terms of raising and exposing them, that might not be able to happen with the way things were going at that time. So all in all, understanding that it was God, I just had to move.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Like, first off, he established the fact that he's a Christian, and it took him about 3 years for him to take that decision. And he didn't just take it as a Christian. He had to, speak with God. He had to pray, tarry in the place of prayers, because he didn't want to miss it. And until he heard the voice, go, before he took that decision, which is very paramount to any child of God. Because if you don't want to miss it in life, you want to seek God's face before you take any life-changing decision. I think my next question, you've already answered it, which were to talk about concerns that you had. So part of the concerns he had was he was already established. He was an authority in the oil and gas, industry in Nigeria back home. But then, leaving all those behind and coming to start afresh in a country where nobody knows you, that was part of concerns. But then he got an assurance from speaking with God. Thank you so very much. I want to believe that there are some people out there also who are facing this kind of dilemma and are also looking for how they could, take that bold decision and to get to their next level. Thank you so much. And also thinking about your mom, your mother-in-law, your children, it shows that you are a responsible man who does not only think about yourself, but about everybody around you. Considering the fact that you are also mentor to a lot of mentees back home, and you are thinking about them. You are not just taking that decision because it favors you. You are taking the decision because it favors everyone around you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Another question that we have here is, what kind of support did you have in place when you arrived in Canada? Maybe like family, like friends or community.
Okay, thank you very much. Before I left, I spent some time to research. It mattered to me how I was going to settle and what I needed to put in place. Answering your question straight, I had an in-law here in Canada who I was talking to. He had moved a year before me, and I spoke to him. Part of my plans and preparation was to call him to say, hey, how is it over there? You mentioned what were my concerns. One of my major concerns was, would I find a job? I'm going to fold my life together in 2 suitcases, and I'm going to travel to not return tomorrow. It's not like I was going for a training. And if I was relocating completely, I want to be sure that I can find a job. That was one of my major concerns. There's a level that God will take you to in life. You want to pray that you continuously make progress and not retrogress.
Absolutely.
I spoke to him. He kept assuring me, God bless him, that don't worry, you'll find a job. I've seen your CV, you are quite experienced. You'll find a place here, you certainly find a job. And so when I I mean, it was part of the preparation, part of the visa application, and I eventually landed here in December of 2022, December 13th. He picked me from the airport. He took me from the airport. I was in his house for about 2 weeks. So he provided me very, very wonderful soft landing. Went with me to open a bank account, went with me to get my SIN, went with me to work on my medicals, all of the registrations and arrival formalities. He supported me, and that was really, really very good. Not just me, a few other persons that were my friends that were together in school. He also supported them. But another soft landing for me was the church. I mean, I cannot talk about my life without the church, without God. I am a product of God's mercies and God's grace. Before I left, maybe you probably get to some questions about preparation and things like that. I spent some time to research church. I looked at the location of where my in-law was staying, and I wanted to check what are the churches that are around here. I'm a Baptist from birth, and I was looking for something similar. I searched and I found a church that I thought, oh, this looked like it. So when I came, good enough, that was the church that my in-law attended, and we went to the church the first Sunday, I think, and it was a fantastic environment, good place. They were quite welcoming. I made friends almost the first day, and that also became my support system from the time that I arrived. I mean, had the pastor is my friend, a lot of church members are my friends. They were people I could talk to about settlement, about job, about all other questions that I had in mind. So those two were my major support system.
Awesome. One thing I picked from your response was the fact that you researched, you did your homework. So you were mentally prepared. So it's not like you just woke up one day and you decided to, like you said, your life in 2 boxes. You researched, you did your homework. So this is like a charge for anyone who wants to relocate. You don't just pack your bags. You need to do homework, do your research. That country you are going into, how are you going to settle in there? What are you going to do? As in, who are you going to meet, right? So you researched about the church. So you already knew the kind of place that you want to worship, because you don't want to lose that connection between you and God. And that's a very, very superb one, which I pick. So whatever you want to do, especially when you are even relocating from your country of birth to another country, you need to do a lot of research, a lot of work. Ask questions, seek information about the place. Thank you very, very much.
I mean, sorry, if I must take it a bit further, if you don't mind.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's not just the church. Church was top priority for me, right? I also researched about job opportunities. What are the job opportunities available? What were the companies where my experience and expertise would fit? Right? What is the crime rate? Right? How peaceful is the place? I was living, and one of my priorities was a peaceful and sane environment. Right? So there were a lot of things, but I spent time, which is what just
quality time
to what you were saying. People need to spend time to research and be sure. Ask questions, talk to people, go on the internet, look at statistics, ensure that you are not just leaping into nothing, you are leaping into some level of preparation. Not necessarily certainty, but a level of preparation. You have some idea of what it is likely that you would meet. You may not see the full picture, but you have some level of preparation that will help you land well when you eventually move.
Awesome. That's just it. I'm not going to add to that. That's all that you need. Because for your emotional sanity, your mental sanity, your mental health, you need to have this level of preparation, so that by the time you get there and you are seeing some challenges, you know you are well prepared to overcome those challenges. Our next question is, how did you find housing in Canada? And what kind of amenities were you looking for? So I think you already answered some of it. You already answered one of it, which is a place of worship. Another one is cultural events. So,
Yeah, okay, thank you very much. So when I was coming, one of the so I did my I mean let me track back a bit. I did my first module online, something like first semester. I did it online because my visa came out late. So we were in a study group in module one,
yeah.
and one of us that got his visa before us left and went ahead of us. While he was going, or while he landed here, we had a conversation. Before he left, we had a conversation that if he arrives first and he gets an accommodation, he should let us know so that we all could live together in a flat. That also was part of the preparation. You don't want to land before looking for where to live. So he got a place, we had a chat. The consideration was, for me, nearness to school, proximity to school.
Yeah.
So that I don't go to lectures late, I don't come back home late. And then, of course, proximity to like grocery stores, bus stops, and things like that. So, and then of course, some level of comfort. As a student, maybe not maximum comfort, but what I call reasonable comfort. You want to have reasonable comfort while you are here. And indeed, he got a very nice place. We had to pay even while we were still in Nigeria to secure the place. And we came in here. It was a good accommodation that we had.
So far, I could see that your preparation met with opportunity and it gave you that soft landing when you came in. So you were well prepared. You were already making enough contact, meeting people, your co-students that you'll be meeting here and all of that, finding that study group, collaboration, team bonding and all of that, even prior to coming. These are part of the things that really helped you when you got here, which makes a lot of sense. So it's also an encouragement to somebody out there, right? If you are listening to this and you are watching it, try to collaborate, try to meet with people, connect with people. Even if you are an introvert, connect with people because you need them. People are very, very important. It's a major resource that you don't want to lack, especially when you are relocating to a different country.
Yeah.
So we want to talk about your career goals. You've been in the oil and gas space, right, for if not 2 decades now, maybe close to 2 decades. And I want to believe that that's what you have been building your career path on. So coming to Canada, what were your career goals? And have you been achieving them since you graduated from school? If yes, kindly, share a bit of that for us. If no, what are the steps that you are putting into, action for you to be able to achieve them?
Okay, thank you very much. Like I mentioned, one of my concerns was, would I find a job?
Yeah.
And would I find a job that is close to what I was already doing in Nigeria?
Yeah.
Before I left, we would hear stories of, they go abroad to wash plates, they go abroad to wash cups, they go abroad to drive taxis. It's a waste of time, but I had my goals very clear.
Yep.
I wanted to continue to work in the oil and gas industry, and as God would have it, the largest refinery is in the city where I currently live. It's in St. John.
Awesome.
And I had skills and experiences and expertise that would give me that opportunity. In terms of being fulfilled, or in terms of career goals, I would say yes. God has been very, very merciful and faithful. I got my job before I graduated from school. I was still in school. I had 3 job opportunities and I chose this one. It's also in my book. That experience is also written in my book. And my dream or my goal was to get a job and roll back my life as quickly as I could. That was very, very important for me. I didn't want to spend too much time going from street to street or job to job before I could roll my life back. Getting the job in Irving Oil Limited in this place, that's probably one of the best companies to work here. I would say I am fulfilled in terms of career. I'm
Nice.
growing gradually. I'm rolling things back to where I was in Nigeria. I'm happy.
Interesting. Thank you. Like, your experience also came into play, right? So all those things, yeah, the grace of God spoke, which is the major one, the God factor. But then you were also meticulous in your planning, and you also have the expertise that is needed. So it's not just like you prayed only. Your hard work and prayers, brought about this. And you're also making some connections, like you were connecting and reaching out and all of that. And that will lead me to my next question. Yeah. My next question is, how have you been getting involved in your new community, and what activities or organizations have you joined?
Okay, thank you very much. Networking and building relationships is not something that would be spoken lightly of. It
No.
is very, very important that one builds relationship with people in different areas. Since I came, I've enjoyed several relationships and the opportunities that come with those relationships. For community involvement, like you read in my bio, I am a member of the St. John Toastmasters Club. It's a club that provides opportunity to enhance communication, public speaking, leadership, listening skills generally. And then I use that platform currently to enhance my public speaking. We also use it to support the community in terms of facilitating different sessions for newcomers and even folks that are here. For example, sometime late last year, I think, I was at the Canadian Air Force Cadet School, and we were facilitating a session on public speaking with them. I also contribute to the St. John Newcomer Center. I do public speaking and mentoring, where I provide support to newcomers, strengthen their confidence, and things like that. Of course, also in church, I belong to several departments and volunteer groups in church, which I find really, really interesting and exciting. Thank you.
That's awesome. So I'm going to sum it up in this few words. Like, you are also paying it forward, the support you received when you landed here. So you are paying it forward for those who are just coming in, and that's patriotic of you, if I could use that word. Thank you, because now you are also giving back to the community where you are currently. So, without wasting much of our time and your time, which I know that is very, very valuable, what advice do you have for others who are navigating the settlement process in Canada, and what resources or services have you found most helpful?
What advice do I have? There is a lot I would love to say if we had the time, but I would say that the first is to have positive mental attitude. What you think about and what you believe in is what eventually would happen to you. Somehow I have that belief. Everyone may not believe it, but it's the first way I would usually start to speak to people in terms of settlement. If you, for example, if you believe that this city is small, Canada, there's racism, or everybody is not finding a job, there are no jobs, there are no opportunities. Even if you stand with one, you will not see it. And you will not see it because you don't believe there is an opportunity here. So if you believe that, oh, I am here, I'll be successful, everything will be fine, not minding the challenges, I will be okay, I will go through this, I will come out strong and better, I'm going to roll back my life quite quickly. Your positive internal motivation is very, very important. The reason is that there will be challenges, like you wake up with myriads of challenges. For example, the weather. Right? We come from a 32 degrees, 35 degrees, 30 degrees weather. But here you wake up to a sub-zero. If you are not positive and you don't have self-motivation, you are likely to just coil back in your bed. You coil back in your bed, you are late in school, you are late for work, you are late for appointments. That is one example. Or you come out in the morning and suddenly there are no buses. What do? Do you go back home? No, you don't. You keep pushing. Or you probably have applied and you don't have a positive response from your employer yet. Do you give up? No. That is what we call resilience. The mental strength that until I get what I want, I am not giving up. I will keep pushing. I will keep working at it. I will keep knocking. I'll keep going back. I'll keep pushing forward until I get what I want. That is one mindset. It's about mindset. That is one mindset that I would counsel people to have. Another thing is, I am an enthusiast or ambassador, if you want, of strategic thinking. What I've observed in this environment is that people wait for things to happen. I would say that it is a wrong perspective to making progress in your life. You have to be strategic. You have to think 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. Even think next week. You don't wake up and things are suddenly happening and then start to grapple to find your way. Let's say, for example, you came here to school. From the first day that you landed and you are schooling, you should be working strategically about where you will work. What kind of gaps can you see between where you are, what you have, and where you want to be? Do you even know where you want to be? Have you identified, say, for example, 5 to 10 organizations where you would like to work? Have you looked at the qualification and experiences of your peers in that space? Let's say you want to be a sales manager here or a sales engineer or whatever. Have you checked what other people have that you don't have? Those are the people you are going to be competing with when you start to look for a job. But you don't want to graduate first before thinking, oh, now what do I do? That time you are under so much pressure because you have spent money to study. You're under so much pressure because you now have to be by yourself and live, no longer as a student. Your bills are probably going to change. Your telephone bills, your internet bills are probably going to change because you are no longer a student. So many things are going to happen and you would want to settle, quick. But if you have not identified those gaps and you have not dealt with those gaps, by the time you graduate, another typical example, let's say you need a certification to add to your qualification after you have graduated as a student. Or let's even say you came as a PR and you need a certification to add to your qualification. It is not at the point of graduation that you will start to write that certification. It will take you like another 2 or 3 months before you get that certification and now effectively start to look for the kind of job that you want to do. When you come in and you identify those gaps in the midst of the troubles of school, I came as a student, maybe that's why I'm speaking about school this month. You want to, put that into your basket of things that you want to achieve before you finish. So that strategic part is where I think a lot of people are really missing it. From my interactions with people, people are not as strategic as they should be. And then I also see something around competition. Granted that we come from a competitive society, over 200 million people in a small landmass, and there is so much to compete for. But here, we need to switch from competition to collaboration. Let's support each other. What you don't have, I might have it. We need to do much more around that if you really want to settle. You should not be shy to talk to people. I also see people not asking enough questions, not pushing enough. If you came here to study, there are so many people that you met here that have graduated. How many of them are your friends? What is your network? What kind of relationships do you have? whether with Nigerians or other nationalities or even Canadians. If you are living and doing things all by yourself, I would say that might not be the best thing to do to be successful in this kind of environment. I could go on and on and on and on because those are the things that I speak about. I want to see other folks that relocated successful. An organization like NCAM is a fantastic space to be. You have opportunities to interact with fellow Nigerians where you can, be with people that have similar experiences as you, and you can relate with each other's experiences and how other people are navigating, right? St. John Newcomer Center is a fantastic place to a resource, a place that you can go, fully government sponsored, that you can have support for whatever thing that you need. I'll say for me, go out there, be known, like the NCAM president would say, come out, go out, be known, meet people, socialize as much as you can, network as much as you can. Don't keep quiet. Don't be shy. All of us are in a journey. You want to speak about the challenges that you have and see how people can support you. I mean, it's a lot, but for the sake of time.
Even with all that you have, given out, dished out from your wealth of wisdom, mental preparation, strategic thinking, collaboration, networking, and government have provided a lot of support system. We have the WorkSafe MB. They also, they have employment counselors who can help you review your resumes to ensure that it meets up with the Canadian standard of you getting a job. You can also access those resources, and they are for free. They're out there. St. John Newcomer section, like connections, like he mentioned. We are talking about New Brunswick, government provided resources that can help newcomers coming into the province. And I want to believe that other provinces also have those resources available for those who are coming in. So if you are thinking of relocating, yours might not be Canada, it might be another country entirely. Do your research, do your homework. If you are a Christian like Isaac Ebhohimhen, you also pray, talk to God. Is he sending you to Canada? Is he sending you to that country? So that if he's sending you, then he can back you up. And you may not even be relocating from your country. You may be from one state or province to another. You still need that mental preparation. You still need to do that research. You need to ask questions. You need to ensure that you are not totally living your life for nothing. You need to prepare adequately for it. Let your preparation, let it meet with whatever opportunities that is out there. So that even when the challenges come, because they will come, they are part of life. When they come, you are well prepared mentally, emotionally to be able to overcome those challenges. And he also mentioned, do not give up. Even when the challenges are coming, fight it with a positive mindset, which is one of the base content that we do on Goldwell Speaks. Positive mindset. We'll keep reiterating it because it is from your mind, out of the abundance of your mind, of your heart. The mouth speaks. So if you don't give up from the mind, then you are fine. You'll be able to face any challenges. I want to believe that from the wealth of wisdom and knowledge and the information that he has shared with us, this would help somebody, even if it's just one person who is in the process of navigating this relocation process. It might even be changing jobs, whatever things that you are doing, that you are changing from one particular thing that you have known and you are moving to another thing. Then it may be showing that it's uncertain kind of. But when you are well prepared and you have researched, you have done your homework, and like he also said, what are the gaps that you are seeing that you need to bridge so that you can be able to have that competitive advantage with other people who are also competing for such. So thank you so much again for being with us here at Goldwell Speaks. I would want to say a very big thank you to Isaac. Thank you so much for accepting our invite. And we hope that when we, invite you next time to Goldwell Speaks, you will accept our invite. Sure. And we are looking forward to that book. I am so looking forward to it. And I want to believe that our audience are also looking forward to the book, because we know that a lot of information, the ones you are not able to tell us in this interview, we will have it in the book. Thank you so much once again.
Thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it.
All right. Till next time. God bless you.